What is going on, everybody? Welcome to lunchtime. Yep, we're getting some lunch today with the Clydesdale. Good to see everybody. It's up, Trained Olive. Amanda says, when you pause Sunday night Clydesdale to move over to lunch with the Clydesdale, that is an addiction that we approve of. 100%. Yes. Natalie and doing it as well. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Last night's show was awesome. Really so thankful that Jamie was able to sit up long enough to get through 90 minutes. She said it was the first time she'd sat up like that for that amount of time. And so really stoked she was able to do that and contribute, which she did tremendously. And a lot of good feedback from those two. And there was a lot of news going on. So we're going to continue to follow that throughout the day. Andrew Stan, 5 a.m. Squat Club, Mark Moss, Jody, Joseph, Corey, all in the house already. What's going on, guys? So, what are we going to talk about today? First thing I'm going to talk about is I went and got some new glasses yesterday. I don't know if you guys can see. And these ones actually have that like transition to sunglasses. So when the sun's out, they'll actually turn into sunglasses. I just had to start wearing glasses probably 2.5 years ago. And I find that driving out with the anti-glare, it's easier to drive with the glasses. But then when it's sunny, it's really hard to do that. So anyway, so I got these to kind of do the drive. My eyesight hasn't changed tremendously from one to another, but my insurance pays for a nice chunk of it. So I went ahead and got these, but I can switch back and forth between the two and have like a pair that go to sunglasses when I need to drive those long trips. So super stoked for that. And I kind of like the way these look. So I like the vanity aspect of it. So anyway, cool. Eric Mackey, tell me you're old without telling me you're old. I'll tell you what's making me old is this. Whoever's idea it was to do a fantasy football league in this Clydesdale media world. I am 0-3, man. I'm 0-3. I have not won a game yet. I got smoked by Jeff Bako. He's been bragging about it in every chat under the sun that he beat me this week. I don't know, man. I thought I knew football, and this year it just is, man. I cannot find a wide receiver to score me points to save my life. Yeah, but whoever's idea it was, good news is Caleb looked good this past weekend. Caleb looked great this last weekend. That flea flicker pass, 65 yards in the air, longest pass in the NFL this year. He looks amazing. There is somebody at my door. Just checking real quick. So, I don't. Huh, okay. Neighbor's dropping off some stuff. All right, cool. Hi, friends. Only finished listening to Monday Night CrossFit Talk and finally catching the live show again. Good to see you, Lito. No, it's not a fireman. My wife is not here cooking, so we're safe. So there you go. Eric Mackey, it's a long season. It is. I need to look at the waiver wire today and figure out some stuff. But yeah, Baco's just making it impossible because he's bragging in every single chat room under the sun that he beat me. That's what I just need to get over. But what I want to talk about is partnerships. Last night we kind of touched on this subject that it was announced over the weekend that Wodapalooza and CrossFit are going to partner to do the announcement for 26.3 at Wadapalooza, Miami. And Dave in his week in review also said that he went to Wadapalooza and Dylan walked him around, showed them how they set up the footprint and all of the things they were doing there. Dave has never gone to Wadapalooza. That was his first time ever. And the fact that he was willing to go and learn about how they set up that footprint, I think is a huge step in the right direction for CrossFit and for Wadapalooza, for that matter. For them to partner together, Wadapalooza has been around almost as long as the CrossFit Games. If you're going to partner with someone, they are a long established and standing competition in this world, and they and it's the right person to do the partnership with, because there are things that Wadapalooza does that CrossFit does not do. And the first thing is, and I see Vindicate in here, considering doing a booth at WAS in Miami next year. The Wadapalooza vendor village is way better than any competition, even the CrossFit Games. It is much bigger. It is much more vast. When you go to Wadapalooza, Miami, in the old, because I've not been to the new location, the vendor village was huge. Like, and on one of the days, they let people in for free. So people can walk into the park and they can walk around and go to all the vendors and watch all the competition on the first day for free. And what that does is it gets foot traffic in the door for the vendors so that they can sell to these people. Plus, you're selling the idea of CrossFit to these people who are walking in, who may not even know what it is, but it's free. So they walk in, it's a nice day in the park. They want to go walk around. They see this competition, and who the heck knows? Maybe they're like, what is this? I want to try that. It's amazing what they do. And if you look at the way they set up their bleachers and their stands, especially in the Miami one, because it is much bigger in Miami than what I saw on the broadcast for SoCal. You can get a lot of people in a little space, and Wadapalooza has kind of mastered that. And they have a problem that other competitions don't have. Wadapalooza's biggest problem up until last year was they couldn't fit everybody in that wanted to be there. Imagine that. There are more people that want to be there and buy tickets than you can fit in the space. If they're doing that, what are they doing differently that you're not doing to attract people? Yes, the location is Miami, but CrossFit can think about that too. What are the locations we can make to do the exact same thing? Albany is not Miami. Albany is not awesome. Why would you put a place there? I know their hands were probably forced, but we have an early details on the season. How do we figure that out so that you're in a location that makes sense and is very much like the footprint of Wadapalooza, and you figure out how to get people in the seats? And the more people you get in the seats, the more vendors want to be there. The more vendors want to be there, the bigger the revenue stream. It just makes sense. And I'm so glad that they have opened up their minds to go to Wadapalooza and check those things out, look at the footprint, and see what's going on. Vindicate, SoCal Wadapalooza Vendor Village was free all weekend. Tons of foot traffic from people who had no idea what was going on. Yes, learn those tricks. I know in Fort Worth, the Dallas, Fort Worth. The vendor village was off site, but the line to get in was so hard. You had to go through metal detectors, and the line was down the street. People couldn't even get in the door. You need to make it available for people easily. Yeah, I know, Corey. I'm old, so I switch things up. Probably bigger this year because they're combining that fitness thing they got a grant from. Vicky, are you talking Wodapalooza or are you talking the games? Yeah, you guys are not picking good places to go. Louisiana in August is not delightful. Not at all. Canada in the winter is not awesome. Waza, Miami. I hope so. I mean, I think I hopefully by moving it from January to March, you're out of the rainy season. When I lived in Florida, the rainy season was relentless. It rained every single day at 3 p.m. when I lived in Florida. If they can get out of that rainy season and have a more dependable schedule and not factor in rain and bad weather, I think that's going to be huge for them, just making that 2-month change. And now that you can go to Wodapalooza and do your open workout on the 3rd week of the open, or if you're competing at Wodapalooza, it will be part of the workout lineup for you to do that weekend. I think that's going to be awesome. Wodapalooza got a grant from Miami City, didn't they? Yes. Miami is doing a huge fitness push for about a month at that time. That's incredible. That's awesome that a city is getting behind fitness like that. So I'm really happy that they have decided to do these partnerships and open their mind to see what other people are doing and hopefully learn from them. And it's okay for Dave to go look at another competition and see how they do it, especially the footprint, especially the overall foot. How can you set up the footprint that makes more sense for the community, for a festival feel? I think that's what Wodapalooza has. It is the best festival feel that we have right now. And that's what CrossFit needs back, is that festival feel at the CrossFit Games. And how can they do it where it makes economic sense? And maybe if you partner with Wodapalooza, you can share resources, you can share equipment, and you can get that done in a way that makes sense. Corey says, is it a fitness tush push? Vindicate says, show up, Corey, and you might get lucky. There you go. Right there for you, buddy. So that's that. And then this is a good transition for me. Do they have a High Rocks down there next year? That I do not know. I don't follow the High Rocks season. Not that I'm a hater, just I hate running, so it's never going to be something that I care about. So I don't know. But last night on our show, we talked about the Air National Guard becoming a new sponsor for the presenting sponsor for the CrossFit Open. And in that announcement, there was that there will be 8 activations done throughout the season presented by the Air National Guard. My hope was that was a way for CrossFit to kind of start their own High Rocks event. High Rocks already is a CrossFit workout. And it's kind of the idea is kind of being stolen from CrossFit. They're off doing their own thing, and they have these events where a community comes and supports each other. And I think that's cool. But why doesn't CrossFit start their own with a less monostructural, biased thing, and they can do it on their own. And last night when I brought this up, the naysayer women and of my co-hosts told me there's no way that's what it is, and there's no way that CrossFit could pull this off. It's too expensive, blah, blah, blah. What I'm going to say is I think they can pull it off. And here's what I'm going to say. 8 activations around the world, and you go do this CrossFit event. You have a worldwide leaderboard for these 8 events, but you make it the old school grassroots CrossFit. Think NorCal on the road. Nowhere where you have to go get a big venue, nothing like that. Think of what can we do outside in a park somewhere around throughout the year around the world. Have a couple CrossFit athletes show up to work out with the crowd and figure out a workout that you don't need to be this homogenized, clean high rocks thing, right? Clean is like in this arena with all the fancy flooring, with all the fancy rig, with the rep counters, all that kind of stuff. And this is more grassroots, like almost like a CrossFit fantasy camp. Come work out with Rich Froning and Angelo and maybe 2 others, so Haley Adams and whatever, and come to Cookville, and we're going to find a park, and we're going to do this workout as a group. We'll send you through just like a 5K would. We'll have a worldwide leaderboard, and you can see where you can stand in the world, and you come together as a community, and you have some vendors there that set up a little tent, and you do some things just like NorCal, right? And I like these suggestions, like similar to what the ranch was, exactly, like a hill run, like different things like that you can do outside as an event for the community to rally around. High school football stadiums, that's another option. Someplace cheap. I don't want it to be this like clean, generic thing that High Rocks is doing. Let's go in the other direction. Let's go to a thing that's gritty and dirty and dusty and do CrossFit the old school way around the world in these activations. And if you're doing it publicly in a park, people are going to be walking around going, what is that? What is that? Well, let me tell you what that is. That's CrossFit. That's how I lost 200 pounds. That's how this guy staved off heart disease. This is how this person beat diabetes, blah, blah, blah. And then have people at booths that can talk about what it is, but you're doing it publicly in front of the whole world in a park, and you're doing it for a competition. You're bringing the community together, and people can see what it is at its grassroots level. And I think that is the romantic part of what CrossFit is. Think about the old school days. We do CrossFit in a box that's not well furnished. It's just an open slab of concrete. Maybe we put down some rubber tiles, and we lift some weights. We jump on boxes. We do some pull-ups. We do some things like that. Back to the grassroots. And when I was at my first CrossFit gym, we worked out outside as much as we could in the summer. We would go out in the parking lot with whatever we had, take some jump ropes, take some barbells out there, whatever we wanted to do. And we eliminated the machines from it because you didn't really want to take them outside at the time, but you could do the whole workout outside. Why not do some kind of grassroots, high roxy thing? Only it's you did this first. Yes, Megan. You proving you can do CrossFit anywhere with whatever equipment you have. Perfect. Yes. We are the machines. Yes. Maybe that's what you call this event, right? This is CrossFit. We are the machines. And we're going to go around the world, and we're going to do these workouts in a park. We're going to do these workouts in a high school football stadium, whatever it is. And we're going to have a good time as a community, and we're going to share what it is that we do. Kaya, has anyone checked out the functional fitness thing in Scandinavia and how it's run? They have a TV deal and are making money with it, asking because they're not on YouTube because of the TV deal. I didn't even know of that. I'll start looking into that. So, but I just think like High Rock stole this idea from us by taking a workout, making it like the little 5K that you sign up for, or the 4-miler or the 5-miler or whatever it is, and you go do it as a community. Why can't we take that back and go grassroots, back to the old days of We Are the Machines, and you go out in the park and you figure it out, and you figure out a workout that you can do and take from town to town without a large footprint, right? Maybe you fill a trailer with a little bit of equipment that you can go from town to town. Maybe some dumbbells, maybe some sandbags, something like that. Show up at a park and have a good time as a community. I think that would be epic, because it not only gets the community back together and fires up the base, but it also does it publicly, where new people can look and go, what are they doing? And why are they having so much fun doing it? And how do I become a part of that? And then you have local affiliates come and hang out there to talk to people about what CrossFit is and how they can get signed up. And it's all presented by the Air National Guard in their 8 activations around the world. Now, maybe this is too pie in the sky. Maybe I'm thinking too big. I don't know, but I think it's something that has been proven to work when High Rocks takes this from convention center to convention center around the world, and they get thousands of people to sign up. Why couldn't CrossFit do the same thing in a more gritty, dusty way? You know what I'm saying? Ken Walters, it's a shame Scott hasn't put any thought into this. I know. We talked about this on our show a while ago, and we actually came up with workouts that could be done gauntlet styled, like Whatappalooza Miami does, where people can come and sign up and do the gauntlet for an hour. But if you do it more grassroots, you'd have to figure out a programming that you could do where you travel this with a load of stuff in a trailer and just dump it into a park and let everybody do it. Frida, plain old body weight can be enough to get anyone floored. I agree. But I think like if you had like some sandbags or maybe some dumbbells, it just adds the like intrigue for the methodology a little bit more. Jonathan, affiliates can sign up for fitness conventions like Strong New York. Yeah, I know those are around. This is something I think that CrossFit should do as an organization to attract people to what we do, to not just cater to the base. It does cater to the base, but it also lets people see what we could do and that we're having a good time doing it, and that make them want to be a part of it. So anyway, that's all I have to say about that. maybe someone will listen, maybe not. I think it's just a cool way to spread the word of what CrossFit has done for so many people in the world. Um, we'll see. Last thing I want to kind of share with you is about a little over a year ago, I formed a partnership with Ismael Garcia, and he has been at events taking pictures and video for me, and it has worked out really well. I just want to brag on him. His stuff is so good and so artistic. Here's some of the stuff that he has done. Um, I love his angles. I love what he tries to accomplish with his photos. And he gives us a presence at so many different events. I'm just really happy that we formed this partnership. And if you aren't already, please go check him out. Here is his Instagram. Isma Captures. Go check him out on Instagram. He does an amazing job, and really, really love the stuff he puts out. And like I can text him and say, hey, I need a picture of this. And he sends it to me to use in thumbnails. But here's some of his stuff from Tier Cup this weekend. And what I really love is he didn't just do elites. He did a whole series here of the RX and the community divisions of people working out. I thought this was really cool. So make sure you go check him out. Here's some more from the community division. Or this is Ellie Turner. So that's all Ellie Turner. This one, these are really good. I love the shooting ones. I mean, that picture came out really well. But anyway, make sure to go check him out, please, because he is he's just really good. The erg shoot was dope, and they have an AR2. It's cool. Yeah, I'd like to try it sometime. Like we said last night, I think that would have been a really cool event. Except for the broadcast, you could not see the colors of the light, so you couldn't tell if they hit or missed. You're just kind of guessing. And my one little criticism with the tier cup was the rep counters were not doing a good job on the broadcast. Those needed to be better. So it was really hard to see who was in the lead or not because you couldn't see the lights turn red or green. But at the Olympics, they have like a dedicated camera right for the target. And it's usually in a little box in the lower corner of the screen. And then you can see like, did they hit or not? So I think that if they did something like that, it would be an epic event where the broadcast could actually see if they hit or didn't hit. So yeah. Frida, I missed all that action. It would have been like 2 or 3 a.m. for me. Yeah, that's why you do what I do and just go to sleep and then wake up the next morning. And that's what I do in the morning over my breakfast. Joseph Ramirez, we used a version of it for op training a few times. That's cool. That's really cool. Chris Beesterfield, I need a ding sound, like a ching, something like that, like bullet hitting metal. That'd be cool too. Something to indicate that they hit or missed. I guess from people that were there, I heard that the lights were much easier to see. You could tell green or red. But on the broadcast, you could not see that light at all. So it really just was someone like pointing, and you didn't even know they'd pulled the trigger or not. So yeah. But again, if you go watch, like, I think it's the biathlon in the Winter Olympics where they ski and then shoot. They have a little dedicated box in the lower corner of the screen that is the target, and you can see if they hit or didn't hit. And then above that, they usually have like however many targets they have to hit, like 5, I think it is. They leave them, they're blank, and then they're either filled with an X or they fill in whole if they hit or missed. If they hit it, it fills in whole. If they missed, it's an X in that little spot. And then in that sport, if you miss, you have to do a penalty lap. So there's a little small circle that you have to go around each time you miss the target. And that'd be a cool way to add that into a CrossFit event. You have 5 shots for everyone you hit. You're clean. For everyone you missed, maybe you do a muscle up, or maybe you do a burpee or something like that. That would be cool. Or even, remember the one year at the games, every time you broke your muscle ups, you had to run a lap around the rig. That was back in Carson in the day. So they actually had penalty laps back. I think it was like Noah's rookie season, like 2014, maybe. If you broke your muscle ups, you had to run a penalty lap around the rig. And that added a lot to the event. So yeah. Burpees if you miss. Perfect. Shanna, hopefully they aren't colorblind. Yeah. Yeah, there's ways to do it without using color, but I just wish it was something for us to understand. Sometimes you had the judge in the picture and he would throw his arm up if they hit. And so that made it better for that. But the judge wasn't always there in the picture on the broadcast. So, but I think it's a cool event for something like this. I don't think it would ever be at the games. But I like it in these types of events. And again, what I said last night is I thought that the Tier Cup was very watchable and one of my favorite events from the year. I love the trash talking. I love the back and forth. I love the events. I thought they were fun to watch. The only one that I really had a hard time was the erg shoot, just because you couldn't see if they hit or missed. But like I tell you, that burpee deadlift workout, which I would never have thought was cool, looked like art when they were synchronized. When you look at Dallin and Alexis synchroed so much, and even Pat and Danielle, they were just on fire, and it looked so cool. It was very, very watchable, very fun to watch. And I really enjoyed it. And maybe we can learn something from this for the teams going forward to make them more watchable. Because I like the concept of the team, but man, it's hard to watch when there's so many people on the floor. I wish we could figure that out. But that is for another day. I want to thank everybody for being here. Tomorrow we do Cooking Cajun with Corey. So he'll be on tomorrow with me. And then, we'll finish out the week. Lito, thoughts on Alexis Raptis and her injury conditions? Is she the new Bethany Flores? So here's what I'll say about Bethany. She's one of the toughest people I've ever met in my life. what she fought through all those years to finish top 10 at the games twice, um, was amazing. I don't think she ever reached her full potential because of the injuries, and that's sad to me. And the year that she tested positive for COVID at the games and couldn't compete makes me very sad. I watched her at West Coast Classic dominate a very tough field, beating Carrie Pierce and Danielle Brandon at that event and crush them. So while, yes, she had a lot of injuries, and yes, you never knew if she was going to be able to make it through the season or not. When she did, she was phenomenal in what she pushed through. But it's sad to me that she never reached the full potential of what she could have been on the floor. If you talk to her, she's really, really wrestled with it and gotten to a place where she understands it. And there are bigger things in her life now than that. And I need to have her on the show again and talk to her about that. But when it comes to Alexis, I think Alexis is just struggling to figure out what her body can and cannot take. She has that condition where her digestive system goes wacky on her. And I'm sure the stress of a competition adds to that. And I don't know what the cause of the echofran issue was, whether it was her digestive system or whether it was just her hitting complete fatigue, or complete dehydration or whatever it was. But it just seems like the one thing holding her back is figuring out how to feed and fuel her body during a competition week where it doesn't upset her body. And I is she going to be the next Bethany Flores? She may be. That we just don't know if she's ever going to be healthy in that moment that she needs to be. So yeah, I think it's a valid question, Lito. I just don't know the answer yet. Because it was my understanding that she had figured it all out and that she was going to be able to, she figured out what the fuel needed to be for a competition weekend. So I hope she can figure it out. Shanna, our resident medical expert, probably a combination of both. Crohn's is autoimmune, and stressing the body isn't helpful. Yeah, I've had a few athletes on from the semi-final level, and they fight autoimmune all the time. And it's really like it takes a lot of work to figure out what you can push, what you can't push, how you can relax more in those situations so you don't get a flare up during the weekend. And so I have the utmost respect for people who are able to compete through those issues and try to figure it out. And I know a handful of them through conversations with them over the years. And it just amazes me what they're able to do. You know, here I am, a little bit achy, and I'm complaining at I'm a little bit achy in a workout, and I act like a baby sometimes. And these people are trying to figure out like way bigger issues. Didn't Colton have an autoimmune too? He did. And I think if you asked him, he had a hard time figuring out things as well. Now he hired a nutrition expert to help him out. And he says that has made a world of difference. And I know that is a thing too with autoimmune. If you can figure the right diet to support it, it can help alleviate some of the symptoms and some of the flare-ups that come with that. So, so I know when I've talked to Colton at events, he has really given a lot of thanks to, I think her name is Amy, who has helped him with his nutrition, because it's made a world of difference for him. So yeah, it's it's crazy what they go through and what they're willing to um, do to compete in this sport, while going through all that. It's crazy. And Colton's flare up was really serious. Like, I think he lost his eyesight for a little bit of time. So yeah, it's no joke. I'm glad he's been able to figure out a way to not flare up as much. With that, guys, I'm going to get back to work. Uh, you knuckleheads, you better get back to work too. But we'll see you tomorrow for lunch with the Clydesdale. Bye, guys.